Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeff. This is my Cave of Cool Books. And today I thought I'd indulge in one of my rare forays into tag videos. Those who are watching a lot of BookTube videos will be familiar with tags or Tag Tuesday. Technically it's Wednesday where I am, but it's still Tuesday back in North America. Anyway, I do the occasional tag if I think the topic is particularly interesting and I'm inspired by it. And I was by this one. This is the BookTuber's Habits Tag. This was created by Mike at Bibliophile Bookscape. And Mike did his own version. Several other cool booktubers I follow did their versions of it. I believe Steve Donoghue did his take on it. Steve's always dancing to the beat of his own drummer and is quite different from a lot of us because he can just do this stuff easily off the cuff with no problem and does several videos a day. So his answers were very interesting and fun. And I believe Ben and Lauren from Young's and the Restless did this one. I think Alan at Alan's Reads did one. Austin at Eternal Reading did a version. Roy Reads Anything. Roy did a really fun one, a usual charming and wry version of this tag that he did recently. So I thought I'd take my own stab at it. It's just 8 questions, 8 prompts, and it's pretty straightforward. So let's get right into it. First one is, do you film in batches or one video at a time? Well, I kind of have 2 situations. So right now I'm in the middle of towards, I guess, the tail end of the spring semester at the universities where I teach, and I'm very busy with work. I'm working 6 days a week. Today happens to be my short day. In other words, I work half a day on Wednesday. So that's usually the time when I film. And I then, in that case, when I'm busy at work, I do in kind of batches. I guess usually I do 2 videos, at least 1, generally 2, very rarely 3 all in one day. But I do make an effort to change my shirt and change the layout of a different angle of my room so it doesn't look too samey. And then usually it's 2 because I put out 2 videos a week on average. And so it'll give me one that I can edit up for and release, pretty much the same day or that evening that I've filmed it that same day. And then another one that I can work on over the rest of the week and release around the weekend time. So that's usually what I do. When I'm on vacation, and I'm lucky enough to get some long vacations, especially in the first 3 months of the year on winter vacation when universities are on break here. I am much more likely to do one at a time because I have more free time to do it. Another thing that's good about filming in the Wednesday afternoon is today is kind of rainy and overcast, but generally I get pretty good light coming in, natural lighting, so I don't have to use too much extra light at all when I film. So it's pretty conducive to making a video or 2. So it really depends on, the timing. When I'm really busy during work time, then I'm going to do it in a small batch, I guess you would say. Next question, scripted, outlined, or chaotic filming? Now, I can't do scripts. I tried at the beginning of my channel and it just didn't work. I was either, if I wrote out a script, I'd be like looking forward to what is it? I can't see it very well. And it just, throws me off. So I prefer to be a bit more spontaneous. I admire anyone who can use a script and make it look, authentic and not, kind of robotic. Then good on you for doing that, but I can't do that. Now, I'm not completely chaotic either. I don't outline, I guess you could say, but I do use bullet points or I have some notes anyway, especially if I'm going to talk about a background of an author or other books in the series, and I might want to have the kind of dates of things or some other specific details or salient points I want to bring up. I always manage to forget something that I wish after I've done my video, after I've recorded my video, that I left that out, shoot, but I'll try to throw that information in the description afterwards, or maybe pin a comment or something. Those notes usually are not too involved. I try to do a little research before I film videos if necessary. But some of the stuff, if I'm talking about Edgar Rice Burroughs or Doc Savage or something, I know that stuff pretty well from years and years and all my life basically as a cognizant individual of reading those things that I can go off the cuff pretty well with that sort of thing. But I guess so. I guess you would say my answer would be somewhere between an outline and chaotic filming. I use bullet points and some notes, but otherwise I kind of prefer to be rather spontaneous and just go off the cuff. It does mean I make more flubs and I have to edit a little more afterwards, but you know, c'est la vie. That's the way it goes. How long, prompt number three, how long do you actually spend filming? Well, since I know that I can edit afterwards, and if I make a mistake, I'll just stop, pause for a moment, and then re-say what I wanted to say, hopefully correctly the second time. Sometimes if I'm having a struggle that day, it'll be more than 2 or 3 times. But so I guess my videos range somewhere between the 18 to 40-minute range. So I'm pretty long form. I'm pretty long-winded. So, you know, I guess you could say the rough cut would be anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes or 50 minutes in some cases, especially with my monthly reading wrap-ups. I have quite a lot to cover. And so those sometimes can run fairly long, around 50 minutes or so. And then I try to hack and slash them down to a more manageable length. I really don't like to go more than 35 minutes if at all possible. Sometimes I have to go to low 40s if at all. I really admire people who are very concise, you know, with their wrap-ups, like Tim at Secret Fire Books can really get it down to the nitty-gritty right away and get in and out in about 15 minutes or less. Really respect and admire that, but that seems to be something that I just can't do, I guess. But yeah, so I do edit. I know a lot of my fellow booktubers are of the push the camera to go and then blah, 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 and then stop. And again, great on you if you can do that. I don't mind a few flubs here and there. It does make it seem authentic and real, but I also don't like too much wasted space. There'll be some times where I'm looking, what's that character's name again? And I'm digging around for something, and it can take me a minute at a time of dead space. I'm not going to, submit my viewers to that kind of torture. So I try to cut that kind of stuff out. I try to make it as seamless as possible, but I am aware that too much editing and too choppy editing is not good. So I'm getting better at the editing, and I try to make it as smooth as possible, but I do some editing. And editing does take more than the length of the video. It takes at least, probably another 50% as long as the original raw footage would be, sometimes more, usually a couple hours. If it's a long video, if it's a short one and I don't make too many mistakes and I'm kind of in the groove, then there's usually not quite as much I have to fix, so it's over pretty quickly. Speaking of, I better get on the run and get moving here before I make this one too long. Also, your editing pet peeve. This is prompt number 4. Well, editing, it just depends on my mood. If editing is going, difficult, if I'm having some struggles with it and it's a particularly long and mistake-filled or flub-filled raw footage video, then it might be annoying. But generally, I kind of enjoy editing within reason. I kind of like making it tight and edited it up. I guess my pet peeve would be sometimes some of the tools in the software I use. I use CapCut to do my editing and make my thumbnails, and sometimes there's some problems I have with how the little various tools work. Sometimes I'll hit a weird button and I have to try to research it to figure out how to undo what I just did. But I'm getting, it's been a learning curve, but I'm getting pretty adept with the software as we go on. It's been over a year and a quarter, I guess, since I've been having my channel, I've had my channel going. So getting a little more smooth with it. I guess the real pet peeve, it doesn't happen very often, but if there's something that maybe I edited it up and it was nice, and somehow I did something that undid, like the back button or something, and it undid a particular cut that I had made, and then later I'm listening to it when it's kind of uploaded on YouTube but not not published yet, then I'll see that little part was left in there, and it pisses me off in my perfectionist nature, and I go through and try to snip that out with the YouTube editing tool. But other than that, I don't really have too many pet peeves. Number 5, thumbnail struggle or title struggle. Well, I don't really struggle with either, although definitely thumbnails take a lot more time. Sometimes, again, some of the tools in the CapCut thumbnail a thumbnail kind of software or section where I'm working on it can be annoying. There's always a reminder of, do you want to use AI? And I'm like, get that piece of crap out of there. I want to just do it on my own, but I don't like to use any sort of AI tool that way. But again, depending on my mood, I find thumbnail making pretty fun. So I don't do a lot of like pre-filming. I do occasionally pose something, but usually I just take something from the video or some book covers or whatever. And it can be annoying sometimes, but generally I enjoy it. Never have a problem with titles, really. I just try to make sure the title fits the content of the video that the viewers are going to see, so they know what they're getting when they come in. I don't do clickbait titles or anything like that. BookTubers generally can't really chase the algorithm. We're never going to be, massive YouTube superstars, probably in the most cases. I mean, we have comparative superstars here in our little corner of BookTube, like Michael K. Vaughan or Criminale or Steve Donoghue or big guns like that. But again, in the general YouTube realm, they are still small channels. So that's the way I think a lot of us like it. So and the algorithm, this kind of leads into the next prompt, but the algorithm usually doesn't have anything to do with my title making. I do try to make titles that are clear. I try to make thumbnails that are, fun or at least somewhat decent to look at and eye-catching if I can, because, I try to make it as good as I can within my limited means of time and skill. So, number 6, do stats influence your reading choices? No way in hell. Now, I am sometimes influenced in my reading choices by BookTube. If there's an event going on, like right now it's June on the Range, and I'm really enjoying reading some Westerns. Upcoming, we got PI in July or Rocket Summer, those kind of things that will, help me kind of come up with some ideas of what to read for my TBR that maybe helps me get into some corners of my bookshelf that I haven't visited for a while, or spotlight a certain genre. But still, I'll be picking what I want to read for those events, and I pick what I want to read no matter what. If you spend any time looking at my back catalog, you can see I'm definitely not too worried about the algorithm. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about, kids' books or juvenile fiction or esoteric, very little known or discussed golden age detective writers like Gladys Mitchell or whatever. I'm going to talk about what interests me generally. And I think that's, the few people that do find my channel and all of those that have, come and watch regularly and comment, very, very thankful for. So I've made I've grown an audience for my ramblings, and they seem to enjoy it to a certain extent. So thank you very much to all those people, and I'm glad that my kind of narrow focus on some subgenres and authors is interesting to some people. So I don't have any plans to, hit the mainstream by any stretch. So no, stats do not influence my reading choices whatsoever. Number 7, most refilmed video ever. Well, I've never really refilmed a video. I mean, I have a few false starts, like I'll start, like this one even. I started and made, just had rubber lips, and my mind and lips weren't working in correct tandem at all. So I had just scrapped it after a few seconds or 30 seconds or something and started again. That happens, but I've never actually re-recorded a whole video. I had one that I did, I forgot, it was one of my monthly wrap-ups, and it was really long and rambly, again, which is my tendency. And I tried to redo it, but I just didn't have the mojo the second time around. Everything that I did the first time was better, was sharper. I had to, edit around it to cut it down and make it more manageable length, but there was just no need to redo it, really. So I haven't had that come up yet in about 150 videos or so, or whatever I'm at now. I can't remember exactly where I'm at, 150, 160 or so. I haven't reshot a whole video yet. So hopefully I won't have to either. And finally, number 8, final prompt, your comfort video format. Well, I would say it's 2, basically. I really like to do book hauls. Book hauls are pretty fun and not too demanding to do. The problem is I just don't get a chance to get many hauls in, and if I do, they're very small compared to a lot of my friends on here who haul in massive amounts of books, dozens and dozens of books each time. Haven't been able to do that very often. I'll be doing my June tiny, teeny weeny, itsy bitsy yellow polka dot bikini book haul for June coming up soon. And I only have 5 books to show off. And most of those are new. I can't really get a lot of vintage paperbacks like I like here in Japan so easily. I'll try to make up for that coming soon in my America trip coming up in August. And I'm going to, pillage and ransack as many used bookstores in the Pacific Northwest as I can. So I should have some sizable hauls then. But generally speaking, book hauls are fun, pretty easy. I enjoy those. And I also really enjoy live streams. I've really enjoyed the live streams I've done so far on this channel. I think I've done about 15 or so now. I think that's about right. I started maybe about 6 months ago running them on my own channel. I'd had a chance to be on a couple others before that as guests. And I really enjoy it. There's something kind of exciting and gets you jazzed up to be interacting live with people as they throw comments in there, and you're trying to keep a couple balls in the air while talking and controlling the camera and the comments and all that stuff. It's a lot of fun. And I've done one solo one, which was fun, but my favorite is to have a guest. I like having guests on, guest or guests on to interact with, and that's just a blast. So that's probably my all-time favorite format. The one that probably proves the most onerous, I guess, although I still enjoy it, is the monthly reading wrap-ups. Those do take a little more time, and I have to try to get some notes and remember everything I want to say about each book and try not to go too long, etc. So those would probably be the most difficult or most time-consuming. But book hauls and live streams, favorite format. Okay, that does it for this tag. Thank you to Mike for starting this and for others for chiming in and doing their own version. Hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to do it yourself if you'd like to. And if you're a booktuber and you have some habits you want to share, if I'm not going to tag anybody because that's not really my style, but if you're interested, please feel free to jump in on this and chime in with your own thoughts. Pretty interesting, pretty fun. Thanks for watching. As always, take care, and I will see you real soon in another video. Ha!